Hey, what's up guys, Mendel here. So in my other video I was talking about programming extreme metal drums. If you haven't seen that, check that one out first. And now we're gonna get to the good stuff for the guitar players. We're gonna track metal guitars. So before tracking guitars, there are a couple of things that are very important. And the first obviously is the player. Have a good technique. And then second, have a good guitar that's properly set up, new strings, intonated, the whole shebang. Have it properly set up. It will make the world of difference. So the second thing that's very important is latency. So when you use an app sim in the computer, there will always be a certain milliseconds of latency, even if you put the buffer size really low. So that's why I personally really like to use outboard gear like a Kemper or an XFX. That way I can plug that outboard gear into my interface straight to monitor, so I won't have any latency when tracking guitar, so there won't be a conflict with my timing and the click track. Very important. Make sure you check it out. So now that's all said and done, let's track some guitars. Alright, so here we are in Cubase. I got my guitar properly set up, intonated, well tuned. I'm having a tone that's comfortable with my playing, going right in my Kemper. For the guitar nerds out there, it's a profile of a 5150 with a tube screamer going into a Mesa V30 4x12 cabinet. So before I go tracking, I want to note that I'm recording 4 guitars called quad tracking. So normally most people would do 1 guitar left, 1 guitar right. But with quad tracking, you do 2 guitars left, 2 guitars right, so you get a really full, rich guitar sound. A wall of guitars, as some would say. So I always go a few measures before into the part I'm going to record, so I can get into the tempo, into the flow of the song, so I can get it right, hopefully in one take. So here we go. Okay, that didn't sound too bad. So now I'm going to the second. Okay, whew. That's not easy to record at a riff, down picking at 260 BPM. So now we go to the right guitars. And I always like to hear my own guitar. So that's the reason I mute the other guitar so I don't get confused with micro timings. Starting to sweat, and now let's do the last guitar. So I got 1 left, 2nd left, 1 right, and now I'm going to do the 2nd right, the last one. Okay, so now that we're done tracking guitars, I'll show you the difference between double and quad track guitars, and after that we'll dig more into the guitars themselves. So let's go into Cubase. Okay, so I got it set up as follows. Here are the quad track guitars, here are the dual guitars. So you can see I removed 2 of them, but I bumped the volume up a bit so it would be even to compare. So let's take a listen to the quad tracks first. Okay, doesn't sound too bad. Good enough for a YouTube video. Okay, and here are the dual track guitars. So there are no set rules when to go for quad track guitars or when to go for dual tracking guitars. The only thing I can say from experience, quad tracking is much harder to get tight because you have 4 things that have to align up, 4 different timings that have to be tight. So let's listen to the differences in solo. So as you can hear, the dual track guitars are a bit less full, but they're also, on the other hand, a bit tighter because there's less timing conflicts, if that makes any sense. Okay, so that's basically the difference. And now let's go into depth into these guitars. These guitars, in my opinion, sound really good in the mix already. So I don't need to do a lot of processing. I do hear some whistling frequencies. So a lot of times when I mix guitars, the most issues I have is around the upper mids, like the 2 kilohertz and around the 4 kilohertz. That's the thing I hear. And when doing this, you have to be careful, because when doing this too much, you can really, and I mean really, suck the life out of your guitar tone. So that's why you always have to hear it in a mix contest, not just solo it and look for all the frequencies, but hear it in the whole mix. But for demonstration purposes, I'll show you it in solo. So you can really hear that whistle go away. So I hear another one. So here it is in solo. And now let's A/B both of them in solo, and then I'll show it in the mix. Okay, so that's basically it. That's how I record guitars. Really hope you learned something today. If you have any questions about this whole process, leave them in the comments below and I'll answer your questions. Thanks for watching and see you next time.